Am I really already doing an FAQ? Don't I? Don't I already talk way too much? Yes, we're doing an FAQ today. Hi, I'm Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us for another round of 365 days of soap. We are here for an FAQ day. Now, it's not just going to be me here talking because I'm twitchy and I move a lot, and you don't need to see that. Soaps, you want to see the soaps. So we are doing a trim and stamp FAQ, and I'm going to answer some of the most frequently asked questions that I get, both, because of the YouTube videos, but also in classes and at the shop, because we've been around for years and questions always abound. And this is way easier than typing out the newsletter, which is strange because I'm a writer, but not so much with the typing of the news. Whatever. Anyway, let's get to the trimming and stamping and answering all of the soapy questions. Let's go. Okay, so we are here for an FAQ session, and right now we're trimming and stamping the Tyler Durden, which is awesome. I love him. One of the more frequently asked questions I get this several times a week, both in the shop, but also online or in email. Do you teach classes? And the answer to that is a resounding yes. I absolutely teach classes. We do soap classes, bath bomb classes, lotion and scrub classes, beard oil, beard balm, face oils, hair care, all of the classes. We do private sessions, we do private parties, we do birthday parties, we do all the fun things. And it is a lot of fun, really. And you can find a schedule of my events on the Facebook page. And you can always, again, if you want a private session, you want a ladies' night, you want, whatever, you can give me a call or send me a message and we can check the schedule and, arrange it that way. Now, in these classes, I teach you everything, but I also, sort of back away and let you do your thing. And they're always a lot of fun. Everybody enjoys, making the cold process soaps, or the Harry Potter workshops that we do, or the bath bomb classes are always a slam dunk. And yes, in answer to that, I do, in fact, teach classes, and they're awesome. Now, another question I've been receiving a lot lately, oh look, it's a lavender bar. Another question I've been receiving a lot lately is, are your soaps antibacterial? Or what is the most antibacterial soap that you have? Now, here's the thing. Antibacterial soap, in order to be antibacterial, it has to actually contain a chemical ingredient that, kills bacteria. And that is regulated by the FDA. And usually that chemical is triclosan. So, in answer to that question, no, they're not antibacterial soaps. We do have oils that are in the soaps that are naturally antibacterial, coconut oil being, a big one of them. But in and of themselves, no, I do not make antibacterial soaps. But to that, like the COVID thing, that's a virus, not a bacteria. And so just regular soap and water is actually better. And I would avoid antibacterial soaps at all costs, really, because what that does is actually it messes up your skin's acid mantle and it kills the good bacteria too. And your skin does need a fair amount of good bacteria to keep it nice and healthy. Well, hello, watermelon bar. You're pretty. Now, a question that I get asked really very often, also several times a week, is do your soaps contain lye? And that's kind of a trick question because it's sort of a yes and no thing. I give everything, right? In my ingredients list, I list everything that I put in the pot to create the soap. And so to that, yes, my soap does need lye in order to be made. And that is true of literally every soap on the planet, be it liquid soap, be it solid soap, whatever. You have to have a caustic, right? Because this is a chemical reaction. Soap, saponification, that is a chemical reaction between a fatty acid that you find in your botanical oils or butters and a caustic, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, what have you. And the end result is soap, which is, chemically speaking, a salt. And so in order to create said chemical reaction, yeah, you have to use lye. But also, these soaps, if it is a well-formed recipe, they do not contain any lye in the finished product. So it definitely is a yes, lye is used, but no lye exists in the remaining bar. So it can go both ways, and I understand why people can be confused with that, but yeah. Oh, look at the rainbow unicorn poop thing. Isn't she pretty? I love this one. So another very frequently asked question, and one that is dangerous and a very hot button, question, is what is the best soap for insert skin condition here, right? So psoriasis, eczema, dermatitis, etc. And here's the thing, technically speaking, I make soap. I'm a soap maker, and all soap makers make soap. They are soap makers. If they were to make any claims, if I were to make any claims that said, yeah, my product cures blah, 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 I can't do that. Legally, by law, I cannot do that. I cannot make a medical claim. And also, soap is a rinse-off product. So I would be more concerned, honestly, with products that you leave on your skin. So lotions and balms or bath bombs, because you're sort of steeping in the tub with things like that. But I can, guide you in the direction of, some nice, gentle, soothing, cleansing bars that will not exacerbate problems or that will add extra moisture to your skin. But I cannot say this soap will treat your dermatitis. This soap will treat your eczema. I can say this soap will not exacerbate any of those skin conditions. Make sense? So I first got this question like 5 years ago when I was at a market in Bellevue, and I didn't get it just once that day, I got it 3 times. And I get this question probably 5 or 6 times a week at the shop. Are your soaps gluten-free? And when I first got this question, I was very confused because I'm like, well, I mean, you don't eat the soap, so what's the big deal, right? And I went back and checked because at that time I legitimately didn't know, and I had to say I don't know. And I went and did my thorough research on gluten, and it turns out by happy accident, yes, all of my soaps are in fact gluten-free. And I also learned that this is, and it makes sense, this is a very important thing for people with gluten intolerances. You do want to pay attention to the products that you put on your skin, that you put in your hair, because the skin is a semi-permeable membrane, so it can get through and it can cause some issues. To what extent soap actually would cause issues, I'm not a doctor. It's not for me to decide. But it is a rinse-off product. So yes, all of my soaps are gluten-free, and also all of my other products. So everything is 100% gluten-free. Yay! So I have received this question more and more frequently over the years, and very frequently at this point, asking about vegan products. Which products would be vegan friendly? Is my shop, 100% vegan friendly? And I have actually always kept my shop 100% vegan. So we don't do, for milks, we don't do, cows or goats milk. We do coconut milks or almond milks. For things that require like a beeswax, we actually subbed out Candelia wax for that. And so yeah, everything is vegan within our particular shop to the extent that I understand vegan, right? Like there are going to be people who don't necessarily consider the palm oil that we use in products to fit with the vegan lifestyle, but that is a very small percentage of the vegan population that are not really a sort of accepting of the responsibly sourced palm movement. But if you accept responsibly sourced palm oil, which is another question in and of itself, and one that we really need to deep dive into, then yeah, no, all of my products are completely vegan, and that's good, because we are very much interested in not hurting anything really in the creation of our products, because otherwise what is the point of this soapy journey? So yeah, one of the more frequently asked questions at the shop, not so much online, because you're online, and so you've probably let me Google that for you before asking things, but one of the more frequently asked questions is hey, what's a bath bomb? And that's a thing. And yeah, no, so I mean, a bath bomb, this is just a chemical reaction between a base and an acid, right? The base being the baking soda, the acid being the citric acid, and it then, when you hit water with the two, it creates carbon dioxide, so bubbles, which also, interestingly, it also ends up, the byproduct of that is sodium citrate, which can be used in soaps to increase lather and remove soap scum. But I mean, that doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's a bath bomb. So you put it in the water and it fizzes. But at Soap and Clay, we like to make sure our bath bombs are really moisturizing and they're more skin loving than just fun. So we put a lot of really nice moisturizing oils into ours, as well as some butters, and then obviously the cornstarch to extend the fizz, but also to help balance the skin's pH after the baking soda has come in contact with it. Bath bomb. Oh hey, Am I Bright? I love her. She's one of my favorites. But yeah, no, how do you make soap? That is a question that's a very serious question. Much like, what's your favorite video game? There's a lot that goes into that. And I mean, I guess the very first thing you start with is what you want your soap to do, right? Is it going to moisture? Does it have a big bubble? Does it have a, nice creamy lather? And then you formulate your recipe based on that. And you have to know the saponification values of the oils and what they will do in the finished product of soap before, starting to build your recipe. And then you figure out how much water and how much lye you need. And the water and lye question is another one that comes up fairly often, but that's a much longer answer as far as how you determine your water values. Lye is pretty self-explanatory. It's a saponification value of each of the oils that you then add up, and there's your lye for the batch. But water, because it can be kind of arbitrary and it kind of varies from soaper to soaper, that's a longer answer, but that's for master classes. But short answer is soap equals lye plus water plus oils. Yeah. So this is actually one of my most favorite questions ever. Seriously, what are clay soaps? Because I make 100% clay soaps. Every single soap in my line is a clay soap, and I am actually surprised most soap makers don't make clay soaps, and they honestly, they should. So with the clay soaps, right, when I started the business, this was sort of like, this business was created to sort of honor my grandmother, who was the one who originally got me into the whole making of all of the thing. And I turned to soap making while she was fighting her battle with dementia. And my mother had turned to making pottery, so clay. And my brother continued to do his awesome things with like the website and making websites and graphic design, and he's so stupidly talented. And so I thought we should pool all of our talents in all of this and all the things that we use to sort of cope with, you know, my grandmother falling into this, you know, thing. We're not gonna talk about grandma anymore because I'll cry. And make the business. And so I had already registered the name. It was Soap and Clay. My mother was a very busy person and she wasn't ready to actually do any of the clay stuff yet. So I had to find a way to shoehorn clay into the actual the soap side because we had no pottery yet. And I remember reading something in like the back logs and, you know, 25 pages deep in a comment section about kaolin clay helping essential oils stick through trace or through emulsification. And so I thought, that's interesting. I'm going to try the clay. And I tried clay and I put a boatload of clay in, like a lot of clay. It was not 1 tablespoon per pound. I use a crap ton of clay in all of my soaps. And when they cured, I tested them and I loved them. Like the lather was instantaneous. The bars were harder. My skin felt better. And then I went and talked to one of my chemist friends and he told me all about, you know, why clays are so good in this particular, you know, medium. And I was hooked at that moment. And so I make nothing but clay soaps because honestly, I think it makes a superior bar. And yeah, clay soaps are awesome is what they are. But you know, all artisan bars are great for your skin. It's much better than detergent bars, but clay soaps, they're pretty sweet. And that about wraps it up for today's FAQ. Now, if you have any questions about anything, about process, about ingredients, about materials, about classes, about products, about life, I'm not great with the life questions, but I can answer soap questions and I'm happy to answer yours. So you can absolutely, you know, leave a comment down below or you can message me. You can find me on all, you know, social media things, and I'm not nearly cool enough to have like blocked DMs yet. So you can find me there. And you can always, of course, you know, check the website, contact form. There are lots of ways to get a hold of me is what I'm saying. And I am happy to, you know, guide you in your pursuits and, you know, help you with anything, be it something that I did in a video that you have more questions about, or something that you're experiencing in your own soapy medium, or, you know, just something in general. Again, no life questions because I'm a hot mess. Life questions. Soap. We'll stick to soap. Thank you so much for joining us for another round of 365 Days of Soap. We'll be back at it again tomorrow. In the meantime, you know, follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Subscribe here. That would be awesome. We are still doing a giveaway, and that would be cool because I would like to see 500 subs, and I would like to give away something because I like to give away things. It makes me happy. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out for another day, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.